two sides of, as I got from your talk, about having the gift of the AI and having the AI to be implemented in so many areas, in so many ways that we can not even tell probably. Could you tell me how did it happen that AI and such technologies became so important nowadays, and how this is turning into a gift, as you said? So first on the technology and some of the examples, and how do you relate to that? And then let's see how this is actually, like doing good to the entire society.
Sure. So on the technology side, definitely there were some important aspects which happened in the last decade, and they're kind of known, like the computational power growth in terms of having more powerful computers to process the information which are needed for the existing algorithms, the big data, the possibility to have data lakes so that we can gather data. So all of this
was needed.
Yeah, it was needed, and because most of the algorithms existed previously, so it's not like we found them, discovered them in the last years. They were here, but we didn't have the necessary hardware on which to run them. So on the technology side, having discovering these possibilities at the hardware level made us possible to actually implement these algorithms and use them in different industries. And it's interesting because speaking about the way AI is applied in technology, it seems that AI is one of the type of technologies which are able to start to replicate complex parts of our intelligence. And we see this in computer vision with already known object detection, image classification algorithms, which currently have better accuracy than humans. Then we also start to see it in natural language processing. I mean, we have models which are able to even write essays today and tweet posts and things like this. So I think that the fact that AI is applied by replacing parts of our, let's say, intelligent tasks,
We seem to get very excited when something does what we did, but does it
because
better.
this wasn't possible until now, So this is the way I think that AI is able to actually spread, and it will continue to do this with tackling new tasks, and it doesn't mean necessarily that it's going to do it in the same way that the humans do it, But we arrive at least at the same effect, or we have at least the same results or better than us. So this is on the technology side. On the gift of AI, there's a lot of discussions, and we see many researchers presenting like a doomsday, based on AI. And the perspective that I like to take is that we should start instead asking, what can we actually do positively with AI? I think it was Aristotle that was saying that you should always judge a perception or an idea not based on the negative effects that it can have. You should start with the positive ones. And I mean, and we can see this with any tool in our lives, even with a knife, right? You can use it to eat or prepare food, or you can kill someone with it. So this is a really simple example, and I think it's the same also with AI. And the topic is even more complex if you think about it, because we believe that AI can have a really huge bad impact or influence for the long term of humanity. It's like you push a button and everything has to go boom, right? And it's similar with the way we've seen the nuclear weapons, but I think that the place where we've arrived with the nuclear weapons, in which we have different parties that have access to them and they've created them, but no one is or has is not open to use it because it knows that that's gonna trigger others. That's a place where we kind of stand in balance, in a sense, and in peace. And most probably it's gonna be similar with AI.
So developed technologies.
Yeah, and the part of the gift comes from. I was talking about three themes, like the origin, the meaning, and the morality. And the way I see it, or I wanted to portray it as a gift, is being a gift that it helps us to rediscover ourselves. So take for example the creation part or the origin part. AI is one of the technologies which we believe that will be able to replicate our human mind or consciousness. That's one of the goals or the researchers are trying to attain. And by doing this, we will learn a lot about ourselves, and about our traits and how we function and why we do it that way. And I think this can be presented as a gift because it brings us new information, like a new glasses through which to look at ourselves and to learn about ourselves. This is about the creation part. About the origin part, about the meaning part, for example, I think there are really important implications. So if we believe that AI will be able to attain the same level of consciousness, as I mentioned in the talk, then we need to answer to these philosophical questions. I mean, should we treat AI as I'm treating you? Because, I mean, it's all of these philosophical questions which are raised. And by answering them, we will know ourselves better as part of the process.
It's interesting that technology, which seems to be such a intangible asset, becomes something that provokes so many thoughts and discussions.
Yeah.
How did it happen to you to actually be so deeply connected to this field in such a way that probably at some point some transformational change, some metamorphosis happened to you? What was that point, or when, or at least one that was most impactful so far?
So I think there were two in my life, two important points. One was I think in high school when I started to question myself, my identity, my reason, my meaning. And I started to look for answers to these main philosophical questions of life. And then on this, the second one was when I've experienced my brain injury. So after that experience, I was trying to understand better the mind. And that's how I encountered artificial intelligence. And what I liked about artificial intelligence is that it's a field which raises these questions. It's a technological field which has huge implications at the utility level, which is important for humanity, but at the same time it raises these important questions of life with which I'm still struggling. So this connection between the two was really important for me, and that's how I decided, okay, this is what I would like to do going further.
That was the tipping point. Is there anything that you'd love to share about your experience so far? Us having you here, so we're so thankful that you were part of this edition of TEDx Bucharest. But what's your gut feeling on this so far?
Yeah, so I think that the experience was amazing, and it's really so wonderful to spend time with all the speakers and to see. I mean, you're in a sense vulnerable before getting on the stage, and it's you can enjoy the fact that people are natural, they open themselves, and I've learned a lot from each one of them, I'd say. And maybe one last image, which I think it could be really helpful, is, and this is also related to TEDx, the way I would see TEDx. Yeah. At one moment I had, in my presentation, I was showing paintings and works of art on a display, and all of them were created using AI. But there was one, Melting Memories, with a person that was staying in front of a display and seeing some patterns. Yeah. So those patterns are actually created from EEG signals, so from brain signals. So there were people recorded while remembering their past. Okay. And that information was processed with AI so that it creates those patterns. And you have that person there who's looking at a display and is looking at another person from a new perspective, kind of that's the new rediscovery phase. And I think that this really portrays properly also TEDx, as being on the stage, or also being with the people who are listening and viewing the speaker and what happens. And I think that's a really good image on what happens here and of the core of the vision of TEDx.
So it creates this image of the brain activity that you
yes,
experience.
or if you see another person there.
Okay.
In the end, you see another person, a different experience. It's not yours. You see it from a way different perspective than the natural one, and this triggers questions. This triggers emotions, and hopefully you're changed by that.
The change, yeah. As we do with the theme of TEDx Bucharest this year, do you have a word that could be like a theme for you or for the stage in life that you are right now? Is there any word or just a couple of words that best describe you now?
Yeah, I think I have one, and it's more of a question. Why?
Why?
Yeah.
Thanks for being also vulnerable and open and giving us time to speak more about you and about what's your passion actually. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.